I'm going to show you how to download a shared calendar and then how to schedule a lab from that shared calendar. First, you should be using Outlook on your computer. If you are using the web app, you're going to have issues. So please don't use the web app to schedule your labs. It really is just designed to pick up your email. If you don't have Outlook set up, you're going to want to put in a help ticket and have the field tech come and set that up for you. All right, so I'm going to click on Outlook and open up Outlook. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go directly into Calendar. Once I go into Calendar, my calendars then will pop up and I can see all of the calendars that I have downloaded at this point. Now here's the important thing to remember is that some of you may not have the calendars over here like I do, and I actually have one that's missing. I purposely did that so I could show you how we can download a calendar. Okay? All right, so the first thing you're going to do then after you've opened up the calendar is you're going to come up here to the Open Shared Calendar. You're going to click on that, and this will enable you to search for the calendar you would like to add. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to type in lab space hyphen space Midvale Middle School, and you're going to notice that all the labs then pop up. The one that I have missing from my calendar is Mobile Lab number 1, so I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to click open, and in just a couple of seconds it's going to pop up over here. When I click on that lab, it'll take just a couple of minutes to download, and once it's downloaded I will then be able to see who has scheduled the lab and who has not. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is now that we have the lab downloaded, we are actually going to check out labs using our calendars. Okay? So we want to first decide if the calendar is available or if the lab is available. So once we've clicked on the lab that we want, we'll open up the calendar. Now here's where the major mistake happens. A lot of times teachers will try to schedule a lab by clicking inside, and all that happens there is it sets up an appointment. And anytime you set up an appointment, it basically is just going to add it to your calendar. So don't double click inside the calendar itself. Only use this to decide whether or not the calendar is available. Okay? You can change the way that it's viewed by going up here and deciding which one you want to look at, which view you want to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and do the week because I'm going to go ahead and schedule for Saturday because I can see that nobody is using the lab on Saturday. So the way that I'm going to do that then is I now know that this is available. So I go up to, and here's where it becomes very important. I want to unclick now that I know that it's available. I want to come up to the Canyons District and click on that one instead. Then I click Meeting, and it opens up an invitation. I want to make sure that my name appears in the From. If it doesn't, I can click on this down arrow and it will pop up. After I've done that, I now am inviting the lab to my event. So I'm going to type in the name of the lab, lab.midvalems Mobile 1, and as you start to use these more and more, they'll start to generate, but you may have to type it out the first time or the first couple of times. The next thing that I like to do is in the subject area, I like to put my last name or the teacher's last name and how many students. If you only have, 10 or 15 students using the lab, then another teacher may be able to come in and use that lab as well. So it's a good idea to put how many kids will be using that lab. The next thing is to put your room number. Now, the reason that we do this is so that we know where that lab is located, and in case we need to go get the lab, we know where that lab is. So let's say that my room is room 100, And the next thing that I want to do is I want to do starts on the right date. So I'll click that. I'm going to do it for the 12th. If I click all day event, it's going to do something that we don't want you to do. So don't ever click this all day event. Actually put in the dates and the time. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. Okay, so let's say that I want this at 9 o'clock a.m. and it ends on December 12th at 9:30 a.m. So I'm only going to need it for a half hour. Actually, let's go ahead and do a couple hours. All right, once I have all the information filled out, and again, don't click all day event, and I'll show you why. Okay, once I have this all filled out, then I'm going to go ahead and send the invitation to the lab. Okay, I just did that, and now it's going to send me a confirmation, and now I've been accepted. This lab has been accepted because nobody else is using that lab. You're going to see that it appeared on my calendar. I want to make sure that it appeared on the Mobile Lab number 1 calendar, so when I click it, I can see that it appeared. Okay? All right, now since I'm using the new version of Outlook, it's actually, if you schedule an all-day event, it is nice because it does block it out. However, many of you don't have the newest version yet. And so what ends up happening if I do that is it just appears up here at the top, and then it leaves all of this to look like the calendar might be available. So please make sure that you don't click that all day event. Otherwise your name just appears up here and people might try to schedule and they may think that they have the lab, but they really don't. So really just go in and put your times in there. Okay? All right, so once you have that, then that's it. You're all set. Once you get your confirmation, your lab has been scheduled, it's all there, and you shouldn't have any problems. And no, nobody will be able to schedule over the top of you either. So let me show you what happens if I try to do that. Let's try to do a meeting here where Rebecca has already scheduled a lab. Okay, so I'm going to go in, and again, make sure that it's from to the lab, Midvale Mobile 1, put my last name, I have 35 kids, the location is room 100, and I'm going to try to schedule here, and I go, let's see, it was at 9 o'clock a.m., and I'm going to want to try to schedule it then, and then I want you to see what happens when I try to schedule on top of somebody. So it sends an invitation, but now it's been declined because somebody else already has that lab, so that I can tell that somebody else has the lab. So I want to make sure that I go into my own calendar if I do that and it's been declined. I can go into my own calendar, and I want to make sure that I delete that from my calendar so that it doesn't appear. Okay, and I'm going to cancel that, and now it's gone. And I'm going to go ahead and cancel this one too. Send cancellation, and there we go. Okay. All right, and that's it. That's how we schedule labs using shared calendars. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know. Thanks.